Hey everyone, it's Ross from Mythic Mountains Folk Tabletop Club. What you're about to see are the ongoing adventures of our years-long running Rappan Athuk Mega Dungeon campaign using swords and wizardry, a retroclone of the original D&D game. Like, subscribe, and share if you wish. You're welcome to join us, and we hope you enjoy. It is miles beneath, a demon-haunted maze that once swallowed a crusading army. The legendary Rappan Athuk, the Dungeon of Graves. A handful of iron-thewed men risk their lives, their very souls, to plunder and explore, to stop the creeping tendrils of chaos. This is their story.
You're in like Mesopotamia or something.
Well, we are now making a mess of our pots and pans here. We are now playing Dungeons and Dragons.
All right.
And I know that was forced. Bear with me here. It is starting to get deep into Darkentide, but it is no longer quite as miserable as it was with that vast opening storm. The weather has settled, and a crisp white blanket of ice has laid itself across all the hills. You can walk out of your home front door in the morning, and assuming you can open your eyes to the wind and the gust, the sunlight is blinding. It comes in from the sky, and the sky is clear as a window, and every direction is just a sheet of white. Snow covering everything. And all the people who are going about their business are little black pyramids shuffling through the snow, draped in layer after layer of warmth and insulation. And in this big mess, you lot are also enjoying this small respite in the blustery weather that is to come. So let's do a little accounting to take advantage of some of the tools which have been put together in my absence. First, let's get a list of who's charmed who, because I've kind of completely lost count.
Let's see. Moore has charmed the goblin in the mithril mine, who I'm going to put a note that they are presumed dead.
Probably.
There is the cultist. The Nagarshapan cultist.
And that's also more?
Yes. Moore's only real spell for a while was Charm Person. It still is.
Get some mileage for that one.
Yeah. There is the Jackal thing. There was another goblin. I think that one died.
No, that's the one who exploded when they blew on the horn, right?
Yeah.
He died as he lived, doing shenanigans.
Loud shenanigans.
I'm trying to think. There's been a few that have just kind of like gone into the ether.
Yeah, that's why we're starting to write them down in a big chart.
I think those three are probably good enough for now. No, there's another goblin that's alive, right? Isn't there another one that's around? Yeah, the one that she's been learning the language from.
All right. I'll go ahead. You have right access. Go ahead and write that in.
Okay.
Father Chris, can you remember the people who Magnus has encharmed?
Yes. If you remember, Monacan was freed from that a long time ago. He's just
a
willing
homie now.
partner at this point. But right now, the charmed are Lochan, and the bailiff, and I actually don't think there's any more currently charmed by Magnus.
All right. Nice short list. Okay. So, the Jackalware. Trying to remember the whole situation with them.
Got
They've been
charmed.
charmed. They're in more sway. Here is the situation about the Jackalware. Well, actually, before I tell you about the Jackalware itself, here's what you are able to learn from them. The jackal wares are produced by some fell magic by the Rakshasa Skramja. And he uses them as his agents hither and there. These particular ones were also produced as aids to Lord Humlunch, who had been sent here to infest Inchberry and make a weapon of it against you. Though apparently not quite enough of one. I suspect that, or you suspect that, that Skramji does not have a full grasp of how quickly you guys are advancing in power, or how aggressively you can act when provoked. It's likely that it's unsure how long this misapprehension will continue, and when his gaze will turn here again. You don't get the impression this has been a tremendous outlay of resources from Skramja, from the way that the Jackalware talks about it. But Skramja was always casual about everything, always. So it's very difficult to tell whether it seemed like a small expenditure of resources because it was, or because that's just the way he acts about everything. Time will tell. The Jackalwares are awful people, and keeping them under wraps is difficult because their inclination is to go find people to kill and eat. From that, you also learn that the inn where you had been staying, or were going to stay that night before things spiraled wildly out of control, has been ground zero of a conspiracy to keep Lord Homilunch entertained, as he has been taking advantage of a secret arrangement with the proprietor not to have a steady supply of travelers who he could prey on. Though you also don't get the impression this was a arrangement to the innkeeper's profit exactly, so much as it was an arrangement to the innkeeper's continued survival. How you wish to address that matter is, well, you have a lot of influence over the area at the moment, but you can also leave it to Frere Brelin. But Frere Brelin is effectively an extension of Magnus. Frere Brelin was being poisoned, and by some fell means. And once you are able to bring him to, what's his name? What's the cleric? Very powerful, grouchy.
Father Bloombad?
Father Bloombad. Once you bring in to Father Bloombad, you are able to lift the influence from him and restore him to good health. Likewise, Father Bloombad's condition, though impairing, does not appear to be advancing for the worse, at least not yet. So that is the situation as it stands now. Are there any questions that you have, which I probably should have answered just now and didn't by accident?
So this is kind of a water margin cannibal innkeeper sort of situation.
Little bit. The innkeeper was basically trying to keep himself off the menu, but Lord Humlunch, it seems, was the one doing the extorting.
Right.
Lord Humlunch is... Speaking of Lord Humlunch, he vanished mysteriously, as we may recall, through the use of a magical item. His current whereabouts are unknown. He has vanished quite completely. Though, if you make an effort to go track him down, that may prove fruitful. But unless you guys actively pursue him, he is off the field for now.
Thinking of a situation like this that happened in the Margraves game, we never found that guy.
Sometimes people just leave.
Well, we can't afford to think about him when he's not around.
I do keep you guys busy.
More ought we do about the inn itself? Is that pretty much sorted out now? Have we dealt with the aftermath of that?
Say that one more time?
So the inn itself, have we mostly like dealt with that, wrapped it up, punished the guilty?
No,
Helped
you
the
never.
innocent?
You have an opportunity to do so presently.
All right.
What do you guys wish to do with the inn and the innkeeper?
Ulfkill, what's your instinct?
That guy paid the copper dealer. He paid him to to be in on the assassination plot. So we have to square things. We have to finish. He's crooked. I think Bloombad would want us to take care of that, don't you?
I think it's long past time for your Evangelion. You send a message and you're saying, "Guess what? King Ulfkill is here. You're lucky. Welcome to my lands, loyal subjects."
Who would he deliver that to exactly?
To the town of Inchberry and its inhabitants. Send someone to make a proclamation.
I should
Is he
probably
still
work.
kind of angling in that direction? That like he's the king of all of this? How
Well,
has that been?
Of note, this belonged to someone else, but that's because they came in and took it for whatever that's worth. So, I don't know. And also, where are they at?
Yeah, I've been making the mistake. No, never let them see sweat. I need to bring in more information about the surrounding noble polities if I'm going to start involving you guys in this sort of shenanigan.
I mean, look at it this way. If you don't, this will remain a security risk. There's not some kind of buffer for the peninsula. It'll continue to be a place for problems to fester if we don't take control of it. But if we take control of it, then that will up the stakes a great deal.
I might have been willing to kind of overlook it as less important before there was a cannibal in.
Yep. Yep.
Never a great sign.
Yes, this will not stand.
Should we
Congratulations.
parade through the streets with jackal heads and
Nay. Do not frighten the people.
well, I wasn't going to frighten them. I was going to have you frighten them.
More of a. This is more like triumphant. Like, hey, we killed these evil monsters.
Yeah, that's a good
sometimes
point.
sometimes you just gotta chop some heads off.
And we'll
It's all
kill
in the
all the
present.
other evil monsters, or you could pick which one, I mean, that's how these things work. It's
Yeah.
1,000 years ago.
Good old Inquisition style pyre burning,
Oh, this is way before that. So it's much more local.
Yeah, we're on the forefront. We're like visionaries.
Yeah.
Perderi proposes that carrying the heads, a bear would probably be a step too far. Sacked makes the point clear. Everyone will know what it is in the sack, but you're also not going to traumatize the children.
Like watching Italian men
I was
carry around
assuming
big
like
rolls
putting
of
them on
carpet.
stakes or maybe a
Yes,
pyramid. I love a good
actually,
pyramid.
I do. I take back what I said. I think it's perhaps good for the people to wake up a little bit, understand what it is
Mm-hmm.
that's in their midst.
Shake off the complacency.
Well, the weather will be good for it soon, as the storm will be passing by, so you can definitely make time for that. And people will be in a better position to observe your presentation of your accomplishments once the weather improves and people are able to step outside and look out and see the house across the way, as opposed to see absolutely nothing. So, the good weather is coming, and you are going to, and I just want to make sure I understand the basic policy proposal here. You want to publicize to the people of Inchberry that there was a monstrous infestation in their midst, and you have kicked its ass.
Kayden's fist has saved you from this incursion.
Very good.
With the full, I think we should let the bailiff give the main speech to the people.
That sounds good to me. It certainly sounds good to him.
Yes, well, it's the least I can do for such a good friend.
And he's happy to, frankly, get out of the house again. It has been too long since he has been out and about in good health.
And you'll make sure, of course, to make clear to the people just exactly the importance of the role that Kayden's hand has played in this matter.
Of course, of course. But after all, when one does a good turn by another, it's important to be recognized for it, yes? Wink.
Yes, happens.
All right. There seems to be consensus on this matter. No objection to be unspooling the thread of history and seeing how this plays out. Here's how it goes. It is received avidly. The people love a show. The Frere Berlin, once the weather clears enough that people can step outside, swaddled in their robes and blankets and heavy cloaks, to observe the proclamation of the dethroning of Lord Humlinch and the public trial of Serge Kenna, the former innkeeper, whose inn has been transferred to the public ownership. The people are enthused, to say the least, at the prospect of discovering oh boy, a bunch of severed heads. The children aren't fans of such things, but this is olden times, and people are a little more psychotic than they are these days. With the bear baiting and so on. And the general consensus is of, oh boy, monster being killed. Exciting. And a slow-burning awareness in the background of, wait a second, there was a monstrous infestation in our very midst. What was all that about? And there is a lot of, how much do you want the people to know about the nature of the threat which was amidst them and why it was here? What is the story you guys want to promulgate?
We don't need to tell
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, we don't need to tell them that the Rakshasa escaped or anything.
Okay.
We've put paid to it, and we will do so to any such.
Do we think Humlinch was himself a Rakshasa? That seems a little bit too much of a personal touch for this guy, right?
I don't think so.
Certainly of him, or rather working for him. It
I
might
can believe.
not be a terrible idea to let people know that there is, some shadowy mastermind. It might get them worried, but I don't know, maybe a little bit of paranoia would be appropriate.
Well, would they have heard of the goings-on over in Port Town, how bad it was for the citizenry up there, and if we had not put a stop to it?
Almost certainly not. You have an opportunity to define that story for them. The nature of this setting is such that news travels pretty slowly, and most people don't. There's no news media. People get information from word of mouth.
They basically heard it from us and possibly from trade resuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but that's actually the main thing. Trade to Inchberry was never cut off.
Yeah, it stopped. The buck stopped before it got to us, but yeah, they're closer. I'm gonna agree with Ross. This would be a good time to really present. We have freed both these towns now, and you will receive a measure of protection from us in return for your allegiance, kind of thing. This might be the best moment for such a thing.
We have roads and horses and men, and they don't. As far as, I don't know. We should maybe, what's beyond that bridge? Is that bridge standing, and what the heck is on the other side of it? I think that's.
Let me take a gander at that brigade. Let me pull up the Foundry map.
If there's just some kind of wood fort, 500 yards on the other side of that bridge, then that kind of changes things. But if there's nothing out there,
it's not a heavily fortified town, not compared to Kayden's Rest by a long shot. The most heavily fortified part of it is the bridge, but the stream is not that broad. It's a strategic barrier in that it can be difficult to ford, but you can ford it, especially right now in this weather. It's not a heavily. You guys definitely have a military advantage over it. They don't have a large collection of armed men, especially because a lot of the armed men they did have just got obliterated because it turns out they were jackal-wares in service to a dark power. So they are experiencing what we would call a security deficit, and they're not excited about that. they're in a position to attempt to address that by tapping into their, or rather, the Farabrellin is in a position to attempt to address that by tapping into his financial reserves to hire men at arms. But if you guys want to make a counter offer, you are in a position to do so.
I don't know that we have many resources that we can spare, but certainly training is something that we can provide.
That is true.
Training?
Yeah. How about this? Nisel is obliged to service and obliged to serve the light, mandated by the church in payment for his miraculous healing. I could station him as a new marshal or something like that, like a some representative of us here.
A private military consultant, as
Yeah.
they say.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, he could manage training, but also like ensure that there's allegiance or something.
Alas, this is what happens when we have done a poor job in getting money.
Yeah.
Because if we'd had enough money, we could have mustered armies and yeah.
Doesn't even need to be like an army, just like a pretty sizable pile of mercenaries.
Which we need
I
money
think-
for.
Yeah,
I
I could probably contribute 150 gold.
I
I
have,
have almost
I have, let's see,
500 gold total. I could probably contribute a similar amount.
4 gold. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
hoping to eat this week.
For gold!
It's entirely my fault that I know that.
That's true.
Florpert
I'm
spent all
terrible
the wealth
at this
before his
game.
untimely demise.
All right, so it sounds like the situation is this: you are offering Nisel as a military attaché to Farabrellin's regime to assist in training up new troops. However, the actual price of bringing in new troops, of hiring and like equipping them, that's something Farabrellin will be shouldering himself. Am I understanding that rightly?
I mean, we're talking about dropping some cash, but I don't know what level of cash we are contemplating.
It
Yeah,
costs about 180
yeah.
gold per month, I think it is, to maintain a squad of
What was that number
10
again? I
men
didn't
or
quite catch
12 men. 120 gold a month, I think. If I
Oof.
remember. Magnus is already doing that in and around the peninsula, so
There's also a question of are these considered house guards at home and they can be amply supplied, or are they considered in the field if they're in Inchberry?
Inchberry is definitely not in the field. It is very much a sleepy farming community.
Yeah.
They're fine.
In that case,
they have
if one
their
of
autonomy.
if one of you wants to raise a free company and make it yours, then I think it's only 3 gold a month for a simple house guard, if I recall correctly.
I mean, I don't really have a lot else to spend it on. Okay.
The monster can't. Monsters can raise armies.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
You can give the money to someone else. You can be a power behind the throne, but you cannot do it yourself.
Yeah.
If nothing else, because you're pretty sure the ghost of St. Patrick will come in and be like,
Yeah,
I definitely,
we definitely established
awfully
that
sneaky.
You
St.
probably
Patrick
talked to
was-
him. You were probably alive.
Yeah, so I remember doing the math on this a while
Knights aren't allowed to
ago.
be lords.
30 men at arms, 3 sergeants, and a lieutenant is 117 gold per month. Do we think that that's a necessary amount of men to guard this place?
that should do it just fine. Like that's enough people to deter casual shenanigans from, honestly, even wandering monsters. The average like
Also-
troll will look up, see 30 guys coming out with lances, and be like, I'm gonna go eat a deer.
Also, I don't think that it's something that we necessarily need to continue paying. We could do it up front in order to basically recoup them and get them into a more favorable position. But ultimately, we want to get tax money, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like they need to start paying us, and they have their own economy already. They've been self-sustaining for a while, so they
Yeah.
should be able to continue providing for themselves.
So my
So
thought
assuming that-
was to provide 3 months pay for a company of 30 with the requisite middle management, and hopefully that will endear. Well, I guess actually, would Niesel count for a lieutenant in that case?
I think he'd count for well more than a lieutenant.
Okay.
Actually, Niesel is a 3rd level fighter, which is
He
nothing to
is.
sneeze at.
On the cusp of level 4.
He'll be level 4 when you get him back if you do this.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but like, if you want to second Niesel to the protection of Inchberry for a while, that will matter. Niesel's labor is valuable. His strength is considerable. And
I will.
He's been through some shenanigans. He has stories to
Yeah.
tell and lessons to share.
I will make sure it's okay with Niesel because he's been a bit of a reluctant participant
Niesel
to
is
some degree. So I will see if he would prefer to stay somewhere a little bit more defensible instead of adventuring against chaos.
Niesel is fine with this idea. He thinks it's great. He also says that he thinks it's great. He thinks this is a fantastic idea. Owanin thinks there's like even odds that somehow Niesel will be killed over the course of the 3 months he is taking care of Inchberry, but he isn't sure how that will happen. He just thinks it will.
Yeah, definitely keep a personal
Ironic forces will conspire to destroy him, and Niesel really would prefer that Owanin had not said that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely he should definitely keep a personal guard though while he's here. And I will provide 150 gold of the fees, some of which I will give that money to him for him to leverage in the supplying of men and arms.
You won't regret it.
Okay. So what kind of so including Niesel, they're excluding Niesel from the requirements. About how much overall cash are we talking about for 3 months of all those guys?
3 months. Yes. No. Well, no. So without a need for a lieutenant, it would be closer to 300, or it'd be closer to 320 or 330.
So wait, it was like 3 GP a month for the rank and file guys, right?
Yep. So
Like
3
3 of those.
3 GP for 30 would be 90, and then sergeant, we need 3 for 30 guys is double the standard price, and the lieutenant is triple. So it would be 9.
So 3 sergeants, 30. Okay.
Divide
Yeah,
the
so-
divide the 330 GP among yourselves as you see fit, and if you put any extra on top of that, let me know. But write down the numbers in Otherworld Adventures in the Discord, because if we just say the numbers out loud, they will fall right out of my head. I will never remember them. They'll be gone forever. This is why we invented the stylus and scraping rocks on other rocks to make shapes in the world around us.
I'm
Remember
excited.
things-
I'm excited to know the name of this mercenary company. That's what I want to know. Like, what's
It
the?
sounds like we're assembling it because their leader is our guy.
Yes. Well, I think Niesel should name it.
Yeah.
If none of you guys have an objection to that.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah, absolutely. What would Niesel call it?
The Angry Inch.
Veto.
No, that's too much. I apologize. That was a gross joke.
So he was wounded on his hand. His hand was mangled beyond recognition. So
We continue the hand theme.
yeah, we could
I think we're
definitely
supposed to
continue the
Kayden's
hand
fist, but
theme.
We keep sliding
Grasp.
into being Kayden's hand because we're not just about the punching. We do other things too.
The hand was a different group, right?
Oh, is that actually a separate group that already exists?
I don't think
Or
so.
no, it's not. Never mind.
The Hand of Spring.
Yeah. Let's see.
How's the Hand of Spring sound to you?
Hand of Spring. Well, I'll get back to you.
Kayden's other hand.
What is Friar Braylon? What is the political situation? Where are his masters?
Friar Braylon. So here's the situation, as best as I understand it, in my shaky little brain. Friar Braylon was sent here to establish a trading post / natural resource gathering outpost on behalf of his masters in Port Town. Since then, his situation has been complicated by the fact that some of his masters were apparently influenced by a force of chaos, though they are wiggling their way out from under the various inquisitorial attention that has brought them. So he has had a lot of leeway. Unfortunately, he has also been very sick, and he has used that leeway to offload almost all of his managerial duties to Lord Homelunch. And Lord Homelunch has used his managerial duties primarily to arrange for his, his murder hotel. And the situation has been kind of weird. So now Friar Braylon is in a position where he has, on paper, supreme executive power, and in practice, a pretty disaffected and disorganized community, which he has to reacquire legitimacy from and credibility with. The coming out with a public display of, "Hi, I'm Friar Braylon. These are my friends, the Kayden's Fists. Here are the severed heads of the guys who are eating all those people. You're welcome," has done a lot to cement his legitimacy as a force of at least temporal authority here. His spiritual authority is also iffy, but frankly, the spiritual authority in this town has also been kind of hollowed out by the discovery that it was under the influence of a dark power.
It was the church covering for them, or not the church, but the local church.
Yeah, should we openly declare Ulfkel's authority, or should we not do so?
That's pretty much up to Ulfkel.
Yeah, well, I don't know. This is all an interesting, wild political situation anyways. It has been for some time, ever since the...
I thought that Praderi had light objections to that, but I could be mistaken.
He has concerns. It's more concerns.
There's going to be
Praderi
a trade-off,
himself,
like whichever way you go.
Yeah. Yeah, like if there's a better word than king that we could use, that could be an idea.
I've been saying chief.
Holy
Chief.
Emperor.
Chief works.
Oh, that's
King
wrong
of
direction.
kings.
Wrong direction.
Grand Poobah.
I mean, Magnus refers to him as
Super
king.
King!
Super king.
Magnus
He's not-
refers to him as what?
Magnus has been referring to him as king in earshot of various hirelings and stuff for a while now, but
Not
not
that
gonna-
this is super historical, but isn't that an accurate title? Being a king in Balkanized Britain did not necessarily make you what we think of as kings in the age beyond absolutist monarchs, right? That's
you'd be the petty king of
Yeah.
a few counties.
Okay, yeah, that works then.
it's just sort of a generic term, isn't it?
I think you need to have at least 1,000 guys pledged to your name before you start calling yourself king.
We
just to be
probably got
totally-
1,000.
12 is
Probably
pretty
got
close.
We're getting there.
Population 992. Nope, 990. Oops.
Going up, going down.
I mean, it also, I would imagine the more sort of public acts of heroism that Ulfkel is involved in, the more people would be interested in having them serve their interests. So, like, the fish thing, I think, would qualify. This, I think, would qualify. I think just, like, being public is something that is, I would imagine anyway, is slowly endearing the populace.
He could pull his eye out and say, "My eye is upon evildoers, all of them."
And so on one hand, go ahead. This is awesome.
Oh yeah, that was the gist of it. You know, just for a little drama.
Yeah, it could be like that one fantasy setting where you have the eye of Kayden and the hand of Kayden and the mouth of Kayden and everything. Spooky. I mean, so historically, though, do I have that right? I mean, after absolutism, after the divine right of kings, then you get into, no, I am the king, right? And then now you need to have, right? But we're not there yet, right? Like, this is... all these little petty lords are all king this and king that and king whatever.
Divine right. We haven't even got to divine right yet.
Yeah. Kierning was like chieftain.
So
we could do chieftain. Yeah.
That might be a little too northern for people's comfort, though.
That's another thing I think about is...
Hey, they object to king, then they object to chief. Dang.
Yeah, well...
Just can't win.
King should work. Yeah, I was mistakenly thinking of like the whole divine right thing and stuff like that. So my
you were the one
personal
who objected to king
understanding was...
in the first place. That's why I started saying chief.
It's fair, too, because this is the post-Arthurian, post-apocalypse, so, like, there was supposed to be a king, a true king, you know, like, there is this idea, and... that's something in everyone's minds. And then my other thought is this is a sword and sorcery game, so you could come up with some gnarly, like, the Blade Lord or something.
I was going to suggest
name or something. The what?
Ogre Tyrant.
I was going to suggest Spear Saint.
That's a good one.
Spear Saint Ulfkel.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, after
That
what
is
he
good.
did. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Blood Lord.
It's not really clear.
Blood's good for you. You need blood to live.
It's not,
and
that's
increasing the legacy of the of Gold Spear as well.
It's a good spear, man.
Yeah.
It's a solid spear. It's a good spear to have.
Lord of the Gold Spear.
Then you don't need to wear the crown out and about, or the crown out and about. You just got to carry the spear.
I mean, you know, in this day and age, you should have all those names anyway. Not just you shouldn't just pick one. You should.
You could be a prince. You could be a lord. You could be a king. You could have several of these.
We'll have to carry around a 30-foot roll
the
of parchment.
important question is: are we it sounds like you guys want to use Ulfkel as the face of this group, and to use this as an opportunity to bolster Ulfkel's legitimacy and prestige.
Yeah.
And it seems, Ulfkel, you're on board with that?
He goes around with Gold Spear held aloft in one hand and his eyeball in the other, and this blaring socket.
Dude, you're going to start some like whole new Nordic heresies about like double Odin. You're Odin too.
We have picked like someone
Gungnir.
local. I don't know.
I'm afraid I don't know.
Drip.
There's probably a comparable, really
What
good,
place to
like
say.
Gaelic or Scottish deity, but I'm gonna level with you. I don't know.
There's
Are you thinking of Cuchulainn?
No,
He's got a cool spear.
and he does turn into weird stuff and get insane.
I've
never
Noom
seen-
probably
okay.
it. Noom
I've
is like
never-
going to be the main one. He's got the Spear of Light and all that other stuff.
I don't think I've ever seen Ulfkel go into a berserker frenzy. Otherwise, Cuchulainn would be pretty good.
You haven't seen him go into a berserker frenzy yet.
I know, I'm just saying. Look. Anyway,
You don't make them angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry.
I don't like anyone when they're angry. Anyway,
Good point.
it
You
goes
guys
really
watched
well.
the Hulk, right?
Yes, we
Bruce
have watched
Banner.
the Hulk. Good old Bruce. Here is the practical upshot of all this: is that the town of Inchberry seconds itself to the protection of the Kayden's Fist and integrates itself more or less formally into the collection of settlements which is Kayden's Rest. There are formalities. There's paperwork drawn up. What this means with regards to their former masters in Port Town is unclear, but you kind of get the impression that the former masters in Port Town have larger problems afoot, and they were not really prepared to deal with the sudden explosion of magical nonsense which they got entangled into when they started poking their heads around in the Kayden's Rest area. So they may come back for you later in an attempt to make good on their investment, but at least for the moment, you've got wiggle room, especially during the winter. No one's going to come for you during the winter. It's too hard to get out here. And so time passes. Now that you have completed this first quest and bolstered your prestige, you are able to spend a little time just existing, savoring the privacy and quiet of the winter season. Getting warm, getting comfortable. And then a few days later, some guy comes up and is like, hey, we haven't heard anything from the logging camp in a bit.
Yeah.
You want to go check that out?
We
Ooh,
should
that
probably
baseline.
do that.
Ooh, baseline. Oh, what music is this? This is great. I'm completely distracted by this.
This is the something has gone terribly wrong dungeon synth.
Uh-oh. Alrighty. Alrighty. Southward you go, I assume, to go investigate the logging camp.
Yes.
You depart on the morning. The bright light, the sun rises high in the sky, and the clouds are thin enough that the world is luminous and bright. But the wind is still ice cold, and you need your heavy cloaks to keep you warm. Many of you are still wearing Yeti skin cloaks Actually, no. I think the only one of you who still has a Yeti skin cloak is Magnus. Yeah, because he's the sole survivor of that era.
Well, I'm sure as hell wearing it.
Yes, and it's very warm, and you need that because Magnus is the only person here who is not sort of shaped like a cylinder, entirely engulfed in clothing and thick layers of insulation. Magnus looks like a man in a big fluffy cloak. Everyone else is, well, it's really cold out, and you're equipped for it, and you look like you're equipped for it. You arrive at the Red Quay to the south. This area has still a bit of a den of sin and villainy, though not quite to the degree as Krogville up north. Allegedly, there are people here who traffic with the fairies and who make strange deals with stranger powers. But, well, it's been a while since that happened. What you can get here is some information at the heavy mud hut that serves as the local watering hole. Over the course since the time since you were last here, it was expanded from a little more than a wattle and daub hovel to a proper wattle and daub mansion, which is to say a nice warm longhouse with space for a kitchen on one end and seating on the other end, and several busy people ushering back and forth, bringing in dishes of steamed fish, stew, and whatever other simple fare they can put together in their limited kitchen equipment. Now, Ross, can you remind me the name of the proprietor of this place while I look that up? I'm not really sure. Yes.
Also, Richard, I would like to know if any of the contacts I've made in the Red Quay are also here, just in case.
Remind me about your contacts in the Red Quay.
Yeah, so I am the owner and proprietor of the Fishbowl, the largest tenement building in all of the land, which is run as a charity.
Yes. All right, Red Quay.
I'm hoping I have some sway with the people around here to get some extra information.
Alrighty.
Anybody else jealous of Ross's pipe right now?
Oh,
It's a good pipe.
I'm not
Is
much
that
of a smoker, but
I think it's
pretty
a
swag.
Vowan. My guess is it's a Vowan Hourland. That's what he's got.
It's not.
Ah, bummer.
I'll tell you later. Let's see here.
of. There's like I know
it's
there is
the Rusty Mutt, and it's owned
Yes.
by Orlaith, the hot-tempered person who hates know-it-alls. And the district was run by thugs. Pastly, the chef girl, was here.
Yes,
He should
Paz-
love us.
Paisley.
We don't know anything.
Well, some of you are recognized. Honestly, most of you are recognized immediately. You've all been here a couple times. The last time you came through this neck of the woods, you were carrying a fish the size of a wagon. And the Rusty Mutt is where that fish was chiefly fried.
What a great day that was.
It was a good
Warm.
day. The proprietor, Orlaith, gives Magnus the stink eye as the rest of you shuffle in, ease your way in. And one of Finbar's contacts here, a young man named Savanbar, is here to give you the briefing on what they've learned, or rather haven't learned, about what's going on at the logging camp. Logging is still an ongoing project at the forest to the south. Even though the weather is ice cold, travel is difficult, movement is difficult, but demand for firewood has never been higher. And it's good business if you have the facilities to do it. And so a lot of people were out there, continuing to man the logging camp and getting by as best they could despite the ongoing blizzard and super chill. And then a couple days ago, and then like last week, there was that incident where a wagon load of wood traversing from the logging camp to the Red Quay vanished on the way, and the only survivor of that group said that they had been torn apart by giants. And then yesterday, contact with the logging camp cut off completely. No one who's gone there has returned, and no wagon loads of wood from there have arrived for a couple days, which is very unusual. And the people who have gone to investigate so far have also not returned. And people are getting very worried, which is why they sent for you. The hope that you would be able to, or rather, they spoke to the Hounds of the Pine. The Hounds of the Pine sent a party out to go investigate it. And when that party didn't return, the Hounds of the Pine escalated the matter to Kayden's Fist, with the hope that whatever you find out there will not be a match for you. What did I call this guy? Svenbar? Svenbar.
Well,
No relation.
that won't stand, everyone. We ought to go and put an end to whatever this is.
I would agree.
Absolutely.
I didn't spend all that money serving these people just to have them killed by frost giants in the cold.
And in the background, you sort of dimly hear someone say, "Well, I mean, can I have the room now?" Paisley is pleased to see you all again, and is certainly pleased to see Magnus again. Happily serves you all. And Finbar, of course, he eats free here because he is a friend to the people here. Granted, the food is not that amazing, but it is nice and hot and well seasoned.
That sounds good.
Okay, it's pretty good. Paisley has always had a talent for making a lot from... You can give her pretty questionable materials and she'll provide a pretty above-average meal. So before you guys traverse to go investigate the Yeti, who are you bringing with you?
I think we need sounds like we might need a pretty sizable band for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely bringing Edith.
Go ahead.
Christopher, you said that our armory has a... and you said there too, AJ, we have a lot of arms and armor, is that right?
We have some stuff just from like the things that we've slain and been able to bring back. But it's kind of ambiguous right now. It's not.
We were
nailed down.
discussing basically expending that and saying like we go from big question mark pile to nothing in order to outfit all of the guards we were just discussing assembling for Inchberry.
But they have their own.
Slate.
Yeah, they have their own stuff that they're able to use though.
Okay. I just didn't know if you had any armor or weapons. I'm a bit short. I have something I can work with, but I'm not able to fight on the front line. But if I had plate, I could get all the way to a mathematical equivalent of a 21 AC. Because I've got -3 parry.
That's a lot of decks.
I do have a lot of decks. But I would need to stay in the back if I don't have plate. I didn't know if you all happen to have that.
I think the problem is we don't exactly know. I'm scrolling through the other one results, seeing if we can find some plate for you.
I don't know that we have extra plate. There may be chainmail, but
I got chainmail.
I mean, I can also field some money for that as well.
I feel like we found
Wait,
plate at some
which
point,
character
but we
are you
would've just
right now,
stolen it.
Ross? I've completely lost track.
Oh, I'm sorry.
you were-
I didn't take
I was
a
about to
picture of
ask
this one.
Constantine.
This
That's
is
fine.
introducing Morpert.
Hey, more.
He's a level 2 fighter, and he's a nice guy. And his most distinctive features are a dexterity of 16 and a charisma of 17.
Wow.
ooh,
17.
So-
he's
We found
he's got that paladin charisma.
we
Yeah, you
found
can-
in the
you can also drop-
desecrated room 2 suits of relic plate mail, 2 relic shields, and 2 relic maces.
Yeah,
I don't
one
know
of
if those
us
would be
is,
suitable.
I think someone in the group was using one of the relic shields, and then the other one was turned into the church to be like a relic in the church, and then the armor as well was turned in. That armor again was turned to the church.
Gotcha.
But I can
yeah.
spot you some cash for plate mail. I think it would be worth it.
I will stand in front if that's so.
You can be beside Perderi.
That'll also give me some money back.
Just double check how much that would cost and subtract it from my character sheet.
70 gold. I'll owe
No
you.
worries.
I'm gonna write that down.
Wait, I'm looking at the Swords and Wizardry PDF. If I'm looking at the right one, it's 100.
No, 100 gold. Yeah, that's right.
70 pounds
I
though.
was looking at. Yeah, that's what it is.
I can do that and still be ready to pay for 3 months of the men at arms.
Mr. Moneypenny. I
Can I
can
say-
contribute because I haven't been making a lot, but I haven't really been spending a lot either. But let's focus on this for now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going
No,
to move
sorry.
our attention to the marching order, where we can decide which crew we are bringing with us.
I was gonna say we could put Ulfkel in the second row. Niesel has to be out because he's at
Yeah, he is no longer attached to us.
right. So Ulfkel can be in the second row with Gold Spear, and then Morpert can be up front with me and Perderi.
All right, I've created a Morpert token. I'm moving Florpert to retirees, on the grounds of him exploding. Yes, I trust you. You don't need to use Morpert for anything specific. You don't need to do anything specific to the Morpert token. I trust you to keep track of the accounting. But you should still have like read access to it.
Okay.
Or read write access, be able to see through it, etc.
Can you give that to Bloombad as well, so I can do it over on this screen?
Yes. One sec. Figure ownership. That guy's the owner. Heretic is also the owner. Is it Alrighty. So, I'm just gonna ask questions as we go. Let's start with John. Which of your retainers do you want to bring with you on this hunt/investigation?
Just Dobby for healing and maybe hold person.
Alrighty. Vinbar, which of your retainers do you wish to bring with you on this expedition?
Just Edith. I'm cooking up something to do with Miriam outside of combat.
Gotcha.
She will be taking. These guys probably don't count as animals, so I guess you can take detect snares and pits because we might be outdoors. I guess detect magic and speak with animals just in case.
Got Roger. Roger. Where's Balric? All right. Morpert is on the field, though he still resembles our dear Florp. A problem we can fix later. I know Morpert has Balric. Do you want to bring Balric with you, and do you want to try to recruit someone else while you're here?
Yes and yes.
Okay. I'm gonna
No,
roll
I don't
on...
have any. I do have money. Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to roll on the random person chart, and we will see what we get today. One moment. I am pulling up the chart. I am looking at it with my. I am pulling it up. I see it with my eyes. I am holding the die in my hand. I am rolling the die. All right. There is a holy woman here who has been living a life of poverty as a nun, effectively, healing the people who are in poverty here. And she is a second-level cleric, and she will join you in your questing, so long for the usual arrangements. Her name is, thinking of a good name here. Her name is Sister Rada, which I will spell momentarily. And her primary trait is look up randomly generate a personality trait real fast. Love this music, by the way. Holy crap, really good. 1d12 and a 1d6. She is honest to a fault.
So she'd have us believe.
I believe her. I believe her, my friend.
Alrighty. As usual, she is tens across the board in terms of her attributes. I will roll her hit dice. Actually, no, you roll her hit points. And then Zoltan has no retainers to take or not take, as the case may be.
I can't.
Praderi, which of your retainers do you wish to bring with you? Nisel is otherwise obliged.
Yeah, Onan, Pasling, and Moore.
Okay.
Moore has 2 charm persons, a light, and a mirror image. No, 2 lights, a charm person, and a mirror image.
Alright.
And Onan has detect evil and cure light wounds.
Alrighty. Look at the list.
I have I'm actually tracking their spells in Foundry. It should be accurate to what they have memorized.
I trust you. Magnus, which of your retainers do you wish to bring with you on this hunt?
None.
Alrighty. You stand alone.
Hey, AJ.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask? Hey, what do you think?
You're cutting out. I
Yeah,
can't.
you cut out just as you got to.
We're just gonna get some Yetis.
You're gonna have to say that again.
So, what do you say? Just we each bring one guy for experience points' sake if we're just hunting Yetis.
My question is, do Magnus, do you know if these things would be detected by their evil?
Detect evil doesn't last that long.
I don't know, honestly, and I think they'd be more easily detected by their tracks. But I also don't know if they count as evil in the way that we're.
Okay. Then I'll just bring Pasling.
So this is a. So what you're saying? Let me make sure I understand, John. You're saying, don't bring anybody on the. Because I think Webb can shut one down, right?
No, he's saying one per.
Oh.
He's arguing it and towards one companion per person kind of thing, because I have a large retinue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just bring the
Considering
cleric
the
then.
mission, just the people we need to hunt the Yetis,
Yeah, I'll
It's
just
not a
bring the
dungeon
cleric.
delve.
Edith has some experience in this matter.
What's the
she's
level
her-
of the cleric? I mean, have the...
She's second level.
Okay.
Edith has some opinion on the Yetis since they were a problem last year, and she lived here then.
Oh, wow.
They were, from what she's been taught of, the man-eating spirits of the winter are driven more by malevolence than hunger. Something sends them here. They're not like wolves that eat to feed, that kill to eat. Sometimes they would just pull a man in half and leave the body there.
So they're accountable for their deeds.
Yes, as best as she understands. And if you have a way of scenting the evil on a man, she suspects it'll work here.
Then, how about I leave more behind, but I bring both Pasling and Onan. Onan, unfortunately, is not very good in a fight. He is good armor, but low hit points. So he's not a frontliner by any means. He kind of stands in the back, but he is a great homing beacon.
Well, you could put him behind Zolan, and then he can pretend that he's Zolan's hireling instead of yours.
Yeah, but Pasling's just like every bit as formidable as Frederi is, so she is very reliable.
Yes.
Pretending to be my hireling just in the sense of each of us having one hireling? Because
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well,
Yeah.
sure.
Alrighty. You have
That's
your
what we're talking about.
retinue. Make sure I'm looking at the right thing. The road that bridges from the south end of the Red Quay to the logging and mining village, or logging and mining camp to the west, is long and narrow and lonely. And normally the area is... It's not really that far from here to the logging camp. You can see the distant trees. You should be able... It shouldn't be that hard to get there. You should be able to walk there in like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, in good weather. In bad weather, it could take you a little longer. But once you are within the trees and out beyond the reach of this village, who knows what you'll find in there? Do you go forth?
Yes, right?
Well, I think it might be worthwhile. So before we go into the trees following along the road, is there any signs of these creatures or any signs of raids on caravans or Hounds of the Pine or anything like that? Or is it exclusively in the forest problem?
Well, do you want to go search the road for signs of mischief, residue of former ambushes, that sort of thing?
Well, this is post-storm, which I think means snow, right?
Lots of.
And so I assume that unless it was like strictly on, like there would be tracks, there would be depressions.
Let's take some time to check out any signs of mischief.
Alrighty. In this weather, I don't think horses are much help, so I think you're mostly moving on foot. It shouldn't be an issue.
We largely need to stick to the road just by necessity. So if any ambushes occurred on it, we will encounter that. We will also be vulnerable to ambushes, but that's part of the job.
Yep. If something feels wrong, make sure to call it out.
Mm-hmm. You proceed down the path. You have a very clear line of sight in mostly every direction. The snow is deep, but because the skies are clear and the ways around you are mostly empty, you can see all the way. You can see all the way to the south coast to the north, and the Red Quay behind you, without too much difficulty. It's simply not that far a distance. But on the way, because you are keeping your eyes open for signs of mischief, you discover the residue of an ambush that occurred some time ago. At one point, the road passes next to a ditch. The road goes along a high ridge, effectively, such that to ensure that rain will drain to either side of it. And at one of those places, the ridge is quite steep. And in that place, you find the wreckage of a wagon, within which is contained a very large load of firewood. Think about how best to sketch this up. It's like entering scribble mode. So there's the road, and there's it passes by a area where there is a really sudden deep culvert where the wagon is. Within the area, you find the residue of one extremely shredded donkey, and no human bodies, but a lot of blood. The wood has been left where it lays.
Is it tipped over?
It is.
How far are we from the edge of the forest?
About 200 yards.
And would we know about how long it would take to get to the actual camp at this point?
About 30 minutes.
Okay. Edith would like to cast Detect Snares and Pits. It lasts for an hour and 20 minutes at level 2.
Sounds good. One more bit of information. As you examine and remove the snow and dust some of the excess snow off of the wagon, you can see that the wood of the wagon has been gouged as if by great claws. I think the thing that you've seen that's closest to this is like bear's claws. It looks like it's been raked by enormous gouges, have hooked into the wood and apparently thrown it from the path. Edith activates her defenses to become impossible to trick or trap, and so with any mundane defense, or rather any mundane trap.
It's like a Naruto Sharingan.
We'll take.
I'm gonna level with you. I love hand signs. I think they're a great bit. I feel like somatic components are underutilized, and hand signs are a great somatic component.
I'm a fan of the term waggle fingers as a general insulting reference to a wizard. But I will take the Q, and Moore will cast Mirror Image, and Owen will cast Detect Evil.
Alrighty. How long does Detect Evil last?
And it's either 1 or 2 hours. I'm looking it up right now.
This could be important in a moment, so I'll give you a second to check.
Evil. It lasts, for a cleric, it lasts 1 hour.
Alrighty. Is there anything else you want to do at the site of the destroyed wagon before you move on? Sounds like no. Mirror Image is cast. How long does that one last?
An hour. Oh! It's not just Moore and a friend. She's got a whole group of friends.
A whole conga line.
Yeah, 1 hour or until destroyed.
Alrighty. You advance onward. The trees... The sky is bright, the sun is high, but the space beneath, and even now the space beneath... Oh?
Yeah,
You're breaking up really bad.
Yeah, I'm going to need you to say that again.
Your connection's going real bad this day.
Pardon?
Your connection is very terrible, John.
I think you're back, though.
So, yeah, say that thing you were going to say, but say it again.
I think he froze. Oh, there we go.
Actually, important question. Can
All
you hear
right.
us?
I was just gonna look.
This isn't working very well.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing that you wanted to do?
Is it delayed?
I'm not sure. Oh, he's typing.
Oh.
Okay, he's looking on. So, for the benefit of the recording, John is looking under the residue, the wood, and the wagon, looking for signs of injury. He can. Are you doing any weird shenanigans with your magic eye?
Where's he actually typing this? I don't see the typing.
It's in the voice chat's chat.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We're
Yeah,
dropping like
back again.
flies.
No. That was my fault.
The
That
Yetis.
was my fault. Yeah. They're disappearing.
Alrighty. What additional
Bring us
evidence
one
does he
moment.
find? One thing that Ulfkel finds in his close exploration of the wagon is a tuft of bloody fur, which looks like it was slashed free of a creature by a desperate flailing of a sword. The fur is white, and it matches the fur of Magnus's cloak. Not terrifically shocking, but now you know.
Useful information.
Magnus, what can you tell us of these from your experience in dealing with them? How
They're
best do you combat them?
They are horribly vicious. Terrible enemy. Terrible. Our best to combat them is to, in my opinion, web them and then fill them full of arrows. Don't dare get close to them. Although perhaps a few here might dare. Great King. Far be it from me to impugn cowardice on anyone, but I would hate to see any of you torn apart at the limbs.
I will focus on the web.
The fact that you can fly will greatly assist you.
I will focus on not getting torn apart at the limbs.
Likewise.
Okay. I don't have any missile weapons.
If
I can give you a
I
hand axe.
don't. I don't own one.
I got a
And
hand
I
axe
don't
you
really
can
have
use.
the.
That's good
I don't
for
really
a
have
throw.
the
Some
money
darts.
to be blowing on. I'll be
They're not
fine.
going to do a lot, though. Let's be real.
imagine
I'll
not
just-
having a missile weapon, couldn't be me.
So I'm at max capacity here.
Okay.
Edith has a sling.
I'm doing a little sketch. One sec.
Supposed to be mapping, but since I'm just drawing an overturned card over here, like just going to be a battle map.
While he's doing that, Finbar, one thing I've seen from like historical records is people would like wrap slings around their wrists or use them as headbands, so they would always have like one available.
I've seen the headband thing. They're not hard to like conceal or have a great many on you in various ways. Test, I have to say your Kawaddle like looking at his papers thing has got to be one of the most charming things I've seen in the last few months.
It's great. It makes
It's so good.
It's really delightful.
I've actually been like kind of had my nose in the papers trying to like draw this. I'm trying to draw this this overturned cart over here like it's going to be a battle map that we're going to use. That's not how it's going to work. I just want those 100 XP.
Respectably so. The logging camp, as I have so artistically rendered.
This is the way. This is tabletop.
Yes, yes. So you've got the little path through the thick undergrowth of the forest. Not so thick now because the people in the logging camp have been busily shredding it all into firewood or fuel for the various matters. It is very quiet here as you approach. There's no sign of movement. Let me clarify the buildings a little bit. This is monks and that should be fairly clear to everyone. This is a two-story
Do we
building.
have Zolatan?
Yes, Zoltan is with you. Why do you ask?
Go ahead. Well, I just thought maybe he could fly and find them and try to flush them out, and then we fire at them.
If they're that nearby.
Well, let me describe a bit more what you see. Those of you who have been here before know that normally this place is pretty busy. Once this place was just a small cabin and the surrounding campsite. This place is built into a proper facility. There's a bunkhouse where the laborers sleep and rest. The original small home has become something of an office for the people who are in charge of this place. And what the wood, which was previously manually chopped apart and sawed by hand, is now treated with a very large metal sawmill, which is under normal circumstances powered by the labor of a couple of mules turning treadmills.
Fancy.
Yes. Presently, all of that stands completely barren and empty. There's no sign of human movement, but there are a few signs of the residue of violence. Places where in the sawmill you can see some of the machinery has been smashed apart, but as though by stray blows. And one of the bunkhouse windows on the second floor flaps open and closed in the high winds.
This is dark tidings indeed.
Are there any obvious tracks leading into or like out of the forest itself, or is it like mostly localized here?
There's going to be a few tracks. Let me go ahead and sketch them real quick.
I don't know if we want to set up some sort of ambush here or track them back to their lair.
In the distance, you can see what looks like a trail of a path carved through the snow leading off to the southeast.
We may have to
Southwest.
pursue.
Ross is getting a big idea. What's on your mind, Ross?
Only small ideas for him.
My pencil.
John, are you able to reconnect? Can you hear us?
Bad luck.
Oh yeah,
All of this
I can.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I can hear good.
I don't have any big ideas. Just go in there and start seeing what's happened.
Sort of investigating each
Zoltan,
building, perhaps?
remind me your spell, your illusory spell. That can move about, correct?
Yes, I can drop a phantasmal force and have it move ahead of us if we think that the enemy is still lurking here. But It's also just as likely that they've retreated from here and just kind of dragged away all the dead to eat somewhere.
Well, we still must honor those dead if we can find them.
Agreed.
Richard.
All right, I'd be willing to cast that and just kind of walk it ahead of us if that's what you think would help.
Do you think that'd be a useful casting of your magic?
Really hard to say. Would it be
Contemplate that
possible
for a second. Let me come back. Finbar, what was it you wanted to say?
Are there any birds' nests visible? Maybe in the peaks of the roofs or in nearby trees.
Yes, there's a few nearby. Though it looks like they are at this point in the season. This is where you're gonna. I've reached the limits of my understanding of bird lore here, but my understanding is that in winter, birds build up pretty heavy nests and sort of fluff up in them and shelter down as best they can. But I don't know how that intersects with very high winds and snowstorms. I don't actually understand how birds deal with all that. So I can't.
Some of them migrate.
Where are you going with this one?
My hope is for Edith to speak with animals on a bird and have it either give us some information if it's in the area or scout around for us, because a bird would not be out of place to a troll or a yeti or whatever the heck these things are.
Okay.
Smart ones will have migrated away. The dumb ones like me.
So if Edith can find some sort of like a snowy owl or something that's around here, I don't know if they're in the area, but like something that would be wintering locally.
I'm just gonna roll a d20 to see how lucky we get. 1d20, high is good. Edith.
I'm open to hares as well, mice.
Ooh, yeah, hare. You can find a wild hare. And as long as Edith is the only one to go approach it, you might actually be able to interact with it, because the nature of a wild hare is skittish.
Yeah, I think that would be the plan. Edith would ask, in order, if there's any information they can give just from having been around, and if not, if they would be willing to follow these tracks and see either how far it is or if there's somebody lying in wait for us. We've got locals here. We might as well use them.
All right, you want to commit to casting the spell?
I do, if that's all right with the group and especially with King Wolfgill.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. I need to know how you are bribing this rabbit.
So the text of the spell says there is a good chance that the animals provide reasonable assistance if requested. Thinking about, well, I don't think we have any fresh carrots on us, but thinking about rations that we would have, they would be mostly salted meat and hardtack. And I think hardtack might be worth the while investing. Otherwise,
I'm pretty sure that a rabbit would go for hardtack like white on rice, but I'm not sure.
So I would try to.
Yes, you had rabbits at some point. What did you feed them?
Rabbit pellets.
Alfalfa.
Alfalfa hay, mostly fresh greens would be.
Yeah.
For a
That was
rabbit.
years and years ago.
All right.
I was like
Edith,
literally a child.
Okay, Edith does not get a strong sense that this rabbit's loyalty is deeply purchased, but she thinks it may be useful. But she's I rolled a reaction check, 2d6, got a 2, and however, the rabbit will assist you by sharing what knowledge it has as it chows down on the hardtack. The great creatures. The first thing, which I want to emphasize here, because I always find it fun with this is the strangest thing that has ever happened to this rabbit. This rabbit isn't used to human language. This rabbit isn't used to having language at all. All of a sudden, it's communicating in a way it's never been able to communicate before. Fortunately for you, it doesn't care about any of that because it also has hardtack, and that's what matters to the rabbit. The rabbit is not philosophical enough to be unhinged by this transformative life experience. Instead, it tells you that, yes, there are great beasts that were here, and they predated upon the humans, and the humans were not able to run away fast enough. Because of this, the rabbit does not go here anymore because it does not wish to be devoured by the great creatures. It recommends that you also do not go there because you will be devoured by the great creatures like the last ones before you.
Reasonable.
Yes.
We need to kill at least one or two of those things, drag its head back, and show it to everybody.
Go to the rabbit.
I mean...
But it doesn't recommend we be here where we are right now?
Yes.
Oh yeah, how long ago was this? Did rabbits tell time?
Rabbits do not tell time.
Okay.
Was it today?
The rabbit thinks about this. No, it wasn't today. I had a nap between now and then.
Okay.
Would have been in the last week, though. But
Yes.
Well, we know that already, right?
well, okay.
Could have been yesterday. Could have been the day before.
I go
You
up
know
to the. Are we still like around here at the tree line? Like kind of.
You're somewhere in this area. You
Okay.
might
I
be
am
more,
willing to just
probably
scout
more like
ahead.
100 feet away.
I don't think that the Yetis will just. I'm trying to get a sense of whether you think that the Yetis are still here, or if they just kind of come here to attack and then they leave again. Like, I don't think they've set up shop here. We could probably tell from like whether there's just lots of tracks around, right?
True. Assuming
Okay.
that the Yetis are like not sneaky.
All right.
You
mean, they
can
could-
see that there are tracks leading away. That there are tracks leading
Well, those
to
are
and
tracks.
away.
Okay.
Yes, I did do a very
Well,
good
they're
job.
probably
drawing
Yeti
them.
tracks.
Yes.
All right. In that case, I think that trying to cast Phantasmal Force and creating like one or more delicious-looking human scouts with like, wood axes that they're going to try to attack with, just kind of bumbling ahead might be wise, and then we could be behind that and see if it
Extra
flushes anyone
plump.
out.
What's the max range on your forward illusion protection?
I don't know. Give me just a second.
Yeah, I don't know how intelligent these things are, but typically for an ambush, you wait until an enemy is just about past you.
Range is 240 feet.
Wow, that's probably far enough.
It is also unclear what happens if I cast it and then leave that radius. But at least 240 feet.
I'm willing to say you can set it up as a projection ahead of you and follow it. But if you do that, then you are committed to the thing continuing to wander away. You can't pump the brakes on it and have it turn away. You get the advantage of the extended pseudo range by committing it to that forward movement
I
and
see.
committing yourself to that forward movement. Does that make sense to
that
him
case,
or anyone
would-
else?
I think so.
Yep.
In that case, would remaining within 240 feet, you think, completely spoil the effect? Or do you think maybe
No,
it'd still be...
240 feet's a nice long way.
Yeah.
I think we should go ahead and try that then.
Alrighty. Any objections?
No,
Alright.
that's a great idea.
Okay.
Bow
Projection.
is out.
Very well. I cast it.
Alright.
Does it have to be just one figure, or can it be several?
You can be a couple, yeah.
Let's make 4.
Alright.
4 sort of, woodsman types. They probably don't have to be incredibly precise, because the Yetis are probably not too discerning.
Alrighty. Let me look up the spell real quick. Make sure I'm not doing anything wildly wrong here.
Page 65.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
They could be like plump and slightly enfeebled.
I think just not having good weapons would be a good one. Like they've just got like axes for wood cutting that they're just sort of like being nervous but not too nervous about.
But it sounds like you're taking pains to make sure this is plausible to people who aren't ogre dumb. That this is like an actual group of guys and not obvious bait.
Trying to be reasonable. I have no idea how intelligent a Yeti is, but I'm assuming that they have a sort of. You might as well make sure that it would pass some sort of like cunning analysis,
Okay.
if only from a distance.
So what distance are you maintaining? Like 120 feet? The full 240 feet?
I say the full 240 feet.
Okay.
That does mean we'll need to like rush in and close by the time the Yetis attack, but I think we.
What's what's the range on the bows again?
70 and
Outdoors?
then penalty up to 140
70 and then up to 140.
And this is
that before you
outdoors.
multiply outdoors?
in the wind.
Yeah. But in outdoors,
Yeah.
this would effectively be, that'd be like 210 feet. But
if we
yeah,
start
there's
losing sight
wind.
of the illusions, then I'll get closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what's gonna happen. You extend your bait forward ahead of you. We'll see, and okay. Okay.
If
As you-
detect. Oh, sorry.
Okay. You proceed forward. The phantasmal force. Nothing ambushes the phantasmal force as you proceed onward. But then, the detect evil triggers. You
120
recognize
foot
that.
range for your.
Yes.
Okay.
Then, Zoltan recognizes that he's made a critical mistake. The woodsmen he's produced, they don't leave tracks in the snow.
Yeah.
But don't worry, the detect evil wasn't fruitless. You can sense a few evil presences hidden in the snowy woods ahead of you, lurking in ambush.
Onan will speak very softly. The general direction of the what he detects, but he will not change his posture.
Okay. You share this information with great discretion. There are two nodes of evil on your left and 3 on your right. You believe that three of them are hiding under the snow near the past the office, and the other 2 are hidden in the lee of the sawmill.
How many web spells do we have?
I have 1.
Magnus?
2.
Okay.
Pretty good.
I don't know if they're like resistant or whatnot, but that we have some oil as well, which would probably work against the web. But
Like for
I
fire.
would. I would suspect it would be very difficult to start a fire in these conditions using only flint and steel, presumably.
that is fair. We could coat them in lightning ignites, right?
Yes, that I was actually just about to mention that. Yes, lightning bolt will 100% ignite oil.
Good
So-
stuff.
I've got 2 of those as well.
Yeah, so I'll keep oil on reserve because I don't want to burn away the
Ross.
web.
What level is Magnus?
6
He
now or
is
something.
level 6. Yeah.
Wow.
2,500 away from level 7.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's a good level.
25.
2,500 away. Yeah.
Oh, 2,500. Okay.
25. I'd be pushing people out of the way.
2,500 is
Let me kill that rabbit.
2,500 is still. Oh, it's like that Viva La Dirt League thing. You pluck a flower. Oh.
Yep.
Quick draw, Matt.
Let's focus.
Sorry. Just-
Yeah.
Sorry.
And hang on a second. And here, let me put down the bait. Oh, I sure hope no one eats me. Actually, there's more of them around.
It's Mickey Mouse.
Oh.
Oh.
Solithan hasn't met a lot of loggers.
They're doing the steamboat willy whistle.
This is not a steam-powered sawmill.
Not yet. Next investment idea.
Pressure vessels are difficult to make.
Over a long enough time period, every PC party attempts to create the Industrial Revolution.
It's it's baked in, man. It's priced in. It's fine. All right, you know that there was an ambush coming. You suspect that they know that you're coming. But you suspect that they don't know that you know that they're coming, but that won't last long. What are you going to do?
Okay, so we do seem to have gotten the sense that they don't think that the illusions are real because they're not leaving footprints, right?
Yes, or more aptly because they made their saving throw. But that is the excuse which I made.
I had an idea that I could wrap my illusion around myself because I don't leave footprints. But I'm trying to think of what to do with that.
Well, I'm sure you can think of something.
Figure out where they are.
Isn't there...
Think quickly though, because they are going to notice in time that you are not simply that they're going to notice you, and then things will proceed from there. You have to make a decision.
Okay, what I think I'm going to do is I am going to wander out with the illusions, with my illusion on, also not leaving footprints, therefore fake, and then I can just try to get close to them and I think like launch some kind of attack from where I am to make them think that we're all real, and then just kind of bail on the rest of the illusions, and then we attack. That's too many steps.
As a bit of paranoid caution, another key distinguishing feature is you do have a scent.
Oh, that's true.
Could they really? In this weather, damn.
I will say that the Phantasmal Force can provide a fake scent.
Right.
Okay.
Like, what I mean to say by this weather is that when your nose gets really cold, you're,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
The Phantasmal Force is pretty inclusive.
All right, key to this is also getting our firepower up close enough, so we need to be moving while this happens.
Yeah.
Maybe this is
them
good
out,
because this is at least hopefully drawing their attention long enough for us to get near the office and then get on either side of that building.
So basically, my thought is to make them have to roll a saving throw a second time against the illusions by making them think that, like, oh, they're actually real people, they just don't leave tracks. And then hopefully they'll attack there, and then I'll just fly up where they can't reach me. And hopefully that'll get them all together enough. Does that make any sense? It might not.
That makes sense. I'm trying to think. I believe, I don't know how widespread it was, but I think elves could walk on top of snow.
In Lord of the Rings,
Right?
that's true.
It's a thing in at least Forgotten Realms, so I don't know about other settings.
If it's true in
Elves
Lord of the
are
Rings,
not-
there's like a 75% chance it's true in D&D.
Elves are not a thing, and elves are not really a thing in this setting anyway, so there's
fair.
not a lot of precedent for it. Anyway, John, what are we doing here?
Yes, party caller. Oh, chief.
We'll lead these people into something.
Well, I say I like the idea of having flasks of oil at the ready, and I don't know. I think go ahead with your ruse, Zolotin, and then if it draws them out, and if they come out, we press in and fire.
Soliton
Try
could
the
fly
web.
Soliton could fly above them and throw the oil on them.
Potentially. I mean, I'd probably fly up and...
Well, we gotta
cast
get the
magic
aerial
missile.
combat rules out.
I mean, if they can fly, that's a big change.
You've got
in
much
what we're
bigger
expecting.
problems, yes. Anyway,
Okay, but I do think that I am going to try to move forward.
you're doing the thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've wreathed myself in my own little illusion, and I'm also not leaving footprints. And I'm going to go out to check on my very real hapless scouts up ahead, who also don't leave footprints, because we just don't do that.
Okay.
Not how we roll.
Okay.
And we're going to we're going to start to get a sense. We're going to start revealing that we are understanding that we are surrounded, in the hopes of triggering their ambush against us instead of the actual party, essentially. And then hopefully that'll get them all clustered together so we can ambush them in turn.
Okay,
That's
so
our
you're
plan.
trying to get them to... Okay, so you are here. You're
Yes.
trying to get these guys, trying to get the guys who are around you to jump you.
Yeah, so
You
they
don't-
we can web them.
Okay, but you realize, but you've also clarified that you think that they don't think that you're real.
Well, I'm thinking that I guess I'll have to just straight up attack one.
That will definitely work. Okay.
Okay, I hang on. I proposed a plan B also, which is that we kind of loop around and just attack one of those groups and defeat them in detail.
Okay.
It's less of a clever plan, but more of like a regular plan.
Regular plans can work.
So what do you say? The clever like the cartoon double fake out plan, or just loop around, hit them while they're split, military stuff?
Zolotan, why don't you create a phantasmal illusion that blocks the sight of one group from watching us attack the other group? Is that plausible?
Unfortunately, no. They'd be able to hear through it. The distance isn't deep enough for that. That would be fairly obvious to Ulfkill as well.
The storm is relatively thick. Like, we could get some attacks in before that happens. About how close are the groups to each other, approximately? Like 1 turn of action or 2 turns of action?
1 turn of action.
Oh well. In that case,
Actually,
they're not
maybe
really.
2, because of how effectively distances are effectively doubled because all the terrain is bad terrain because you're wading through snow.
So we think potentially we could get 1 turn against one group, and then the other group attacks.
Yes.
Okay. I've changed my mind. I think that probably makes more sense than this cartoon shit I'm doing.
Okay. So did you guys?
What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think it's worth a try.
Okay.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
I've changed my mind. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna do that.
Are you guys going to try and flank to the east? No, sorry, to the west or to the east?
Wait, is that not north and south? Oh wait. Oh, I see you.
Yeah.
Kind of feel.
Why don't we attack the 3 guys first?
Okay.
All right. So you're gonna loop around and use the bunks as cover.
Is that close?
Works.
Yeah.
Trundle while the illusionary gang is attracting attention, the rest of you guys shuffle around to a position where you will flank at least some of them. You can see them hiding in the snow, in the shade of the tree. They are visible primarily as big lumps in the snow. They're completely buried. Only the very tips of their eyes peek out like crocodiles from the water.
Eerie.
Big shaggy white heads. Little eyes peering at Zoltan. Zoltan, how will you mark your targets for this? How are you going to attempt to bushwhack them?
Well, once the group's in range, I guess one good way to mark them is that if I use magic missile, I can get 3 different attacks. So instead of focus firing, I just plink one at a time so that you can see the impacts.
Does Edith have fairy fire, by the way?
We did not prepare fairy fire.
Okay.
They're a little too spread out to fit in one web, I see.
They're pretty chunky. They soak up about 1 web each, usually, unless they're next to each other.
All right. In that case, I will do as I say.
Alrighty. We're going to roll initiative. Here we go. Maestro, fighting time. Got about 40 minutes. We should be able to wrap this up nice. Why am I still in blind jam roll mode? John, roll initiative.
You are muted, sir.
I can't access Foundry. I can do it from Roll20. No, not from here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were grappling with the. I didn't realize you didn't have access to this today. Gosh.
Can I roll and roll?
Yeah, go ahead and roll 20. All right, that's a 3. This gang has initiative. Can either side reasonably surprise the other? Yes. I'm gonna roll to see if I am surprised, if my guys are surprised by the rest of you, not by Zoltan. Alas, they are not. We'll begin. I apologize. I should have gone with spell declarations before we establish initiative, but that's on me. They have initiative. Do you want to declare spells?
Webb.
Okay.
I don't have any spellcasters. Never mind. Or I do. Owen. No.
Okay.
How many feet away are they from us right now?
They are about 70 feet. One moment. I'm going to do a thing to make this a little more accessible for John. Not that. Here we are. All right. John should now be able to see the screen. So I don't know if John can actually stream effectively. He probably can. He streamed the rest of us. John, does this work?
Is it? We just froze it again.
Yeah, we might want to.
We might need like a pinch hitter.
Well, I think
Yeah, I'm
step
thinking
one,
that might be necessary.
Maybe John should stop doing video on his end,
Maybe.
especially if he's gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, it might just. If there's any kind of a bandwidth issue that's part of this, it might help.
Yeah, I know his home internet is. It's not necessarily that it's too slow, but it's not reliable. It dips up and down.
I believe the word you're looking for, Richard, is cringe.
All right.
Alright.
Who? I vote. Ross, you want to roll initiative or for next rounds?
Yeah, let's just, it sucks when that happens. Wait, we got a message here. What do we got? John, sorry about your... Okay, yeah, let's do it. Alright, so we're at the initiative phase, right? 6, there you go.
Or for the next rounds? I think we already rolled for this one. Sorry.
Oh, my bad.
All right. Go through the queue. They have initiative first in the movement and missile fire phase. They move to attack your guys. 2 of them move to attack the illusionary figures. 1 of them moves to attack Zolatan.
Oh no.
Okay. Zolatan. A couple of others spring from the other side as well.
Don't suppose I have time to just bail.
You actually kind of do. They'll get a swipe at you, but you can also you can leave. You can pull them. They'll get 1 swipe at you as opposed to 2.
I would like to only have 1 swipe at me.
Alrighty. We will come to that in a second. So that's their movement phase. Now, I'm going to go through first. Finbar, what is your plan here? Are you going to move in? Are you going to shoot or move? And I'm actually, you don't have any melee weapons, right? No, sorry, range weapons.
I don't know.
Okay. Are you guys going to collectively move into melee, or are you going to try and hold back for a minute?
Oh, I vote hold back.
I agree.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
wise.
There seems to be consensus on that.
I'm not breaking rank and charging these things.
Okay.
For Frodo? No.
All right. You guys are holding position. Now, melee combat. No, sorry, movement. Zoltan is trying to break contact. They will get the one that is in your face will get 1 swipe at you. This creature is 9 feet tall, a massive shaggy hair, pure white, and from within it, blue eyes and lips pull back to reveal glistening fangs. And it will
I
take
shed my human illusion like a tail falling off a lizard and just get out of there.
It takes a shot at giving you the swipe,
Away.
and it hits you square with a natural 20.
Oh! Alright, how bad?
Not that bad. 2
Oh.
points of damage.
I was expecting way more than that.
Yeah.
Because I imagine like it sort of clips you as you go up, and you sort of pin away a little bit as you fly away.
Yeah, I may have been entertaining thoughts of trying to like carry out more of an illusion, but then I get socked in the face and the plan goes away, and I just kind of noodle out of there.
Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face by a Yeti.
Exactly.
Doesn't that dispel, or doesn't he lose the spell also?
I don't know.
I think it says spells.
so.
If you take damage, you lose the spell.
If you're casting a spell, right?
Yes, definitely.
He had
So
already
it definitely
casted-
fucks up my my
Magic missile.
magic
That magic
missile
missile is
output.
magic missile.
rip.
Gotcha. Sorry.
No, it's reasonable.
Oh yeah, duration until concentration ends. So yeah, that's these guys blip out of existence.
Oh, does concentration mean you just lose it if you take any damage?
Yeah, definitely. You got punched in
Okay.
the face. Your concentration is not present.
Okay.
Okay. Now
I
it
didn't know
is. Okay, you guys are not in melee range. Now, however, you guys were at range fire range, and I skipped that by accident. So if you guys want to take shots, you can do so now. The range between you is 90 feet.
How's that? How did I do
Their effective armor class is. Gotta write this down. Their effective armor class is 13.
So trying to separate them didn't work.
Got them in more or less the same spot. Alrighty.
How wide are they?
I should make them a little larger. I just threw down quickies. Appearance.
Are they 10 feet wide?
Yeah, they're 10 feet wide.
9 feet tall?
9
and
feet
10 feet
tall.
wide?
As wide as they are tall.
Absolute units. Unreal.
Tusks to match.
All right.
True.
Well, I should be able to grab at least 2 of them in this web that's about to go off.
That is true. If nothing else, you can at least glue them to each other. I need you to draw me a 9-foot tall Yeti as wide as they are tall.
It looks like a thwomp from Mario.
Yes, it's a perfect description.
Those guys are taller than they are wide. Like, damn. We're talking
Alrighty.
some chunguses.
All right. Is anyone not make an attack roll who wants to make an attack roll with a range?
I'd like
Well,
to
I'm
make
sorry.
an attack roll, I just can't.
Okay.
For Derry.
Roll
Yes,
20.
1 second.
Ooh, did you?
Yeah.
All right. That's with your bow. So.
Yeah.
Combat.
All right. A 20 will 100% hit. Their armor class is 13. Go ahead and roll damage, and I will keep an eye on. Actually, the 12 will also hit, so you hit twice. So go ahead and roll damage twice.
I got a 4 and a 3 on damage.
Nice, nice, nice.
Oof. So
All
there's mine, and then Pasling will. They're 70 feet, so these are gonna have a penalty in addition to the weather. Those aren't gonna hit, but that one from Perderi probably is gonna hit, so that's gonna be 2 damage.
Okay, so that's another. So we're focusing fire with some effectiveness. One of them is about half down. These guys are pretty chunky.
And they're beyond sling range, right?
I think so. I don't remember offhand what the range
It's like
of the sling is.
40 feet. I will do one with the penalty.
Maybe you'll roll a 20. You don't roll a 20. You roll a.
Oh, it was almost a
roll
19.
A 3. I'm
All
pretty
right.
sure it wasn't. Anyway, so a
draft-
hail
the
of
draft-
missile fire goes out. Say again, Magnus?
I don't think you're seeing the animations.
Yeah, the animation, it was like a 19 that rocked over onto a 3.
Oh. Oh, this is great. Sorry, I just noticed the maps that Zoltan made. Anyway, so spells. First off, the magic missile which Zoltan was preparing. vanished in a puff of fist. Next, the web. Describe
Yes.
what you are webbing and who you are trying to web and to what.
Okay. There's 5 of them?
Yes.
That's right.
So there's only 2, the 2 that we've been battling, I guess. Let's see here. Yeah, these 2 in front will web them to each other.
Alrighty. These guys are bewebbed. Let me see if I've got a good token for that. I do, actually. They are ensnared to each other in a useless mess.
All 3 of them?
No, just these 2.
Okay.
The ones with that, with the little web, that little net, little net sign on.
I was confused about the blue bar.
All right. Don't worry about the blue bar. I'm just getting all their stats to a visible, their hit points and such to a visible state.
There's one way to get me to worry about something. It's tell me not to worry about it.
Okay. It is the beginning of round 2. We have not yet rolled initiative. Does anyone wish to declare spells?
Web.
All right.
Web.
Just the 2 seconds of silence followed by web.
It's a good spell.
It makes me laugh. I'm sorry.
It's fine. All right. They are going to declare a spell as well. Their spell is Throw Rock.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Throw a rock at him.
Okay. Well, actually, this guy. So, now we will roll initiative, and then we will actually follow the rules. That'll be a pleasant change. All right. I kind of go first because I roll a 5. You guys roll a 1. So, movement and missile fire. These 2 guys are going to throw rocks at Zoltan. They make shots, and if they hit, they will probably disrupt the spell.
Yep.
They
Wait, you mean probably or 100% chance?
100% chance, actually.
Okay.
I shouldn't say probably when it's 100% chance. Anyway, so they reach their hands into the earth and grab great stones from underneath the snow and yeet them with all their strength. What is your armor class? 15? 1-5?
Yes.
You're good. They whip past you, and you are able to either dodge or casually tank the impacts of stones deflecting off of your body. These other 3, however, these 2 up here are impeded, and this one is going to rampage to the north after the rest of you. Let's see. So that's 105 feet.
Don't forget what you said about doubling distances.
Yes, I won't.
Like to imagine that they were actually snowballs with rocks in them.
However, he is going to charge into melee range. He will not be able to attack this round, but he is in melee range. He is now what we regard as a problem.
Well, at least you get hits on him first.
Okay.
And to test your metal, Morpert.
All right, now, movement to missile fire. Those of you who are in melee, movement is, well, they came to you. Missile fire, they're in your face. So,
sorry, can we break the party thing into individual tokens?
with some yes, but I prefer to do that like on a token by token basis. Which token you want to break out?
Okay, never mind then.
Oh,
I just because
Webb doesn't have that much range, actually. Is that also doubled outdoors or triple?
I don't think so. What's the range of Webb?
It says here 30 feet.
Oh.
That's not that much.
Yeah. You weren't in range to cast Webb. It was like a solid 80 feet away.
I am. Gosh, but how are you even supposed to aim that if enemies can move so much faster, so much further than that? Dang. I don't know either.
Get good.
Well, I'm gonna try to get closer so I can try to web them.
All right. Move.
Yeah.
Move closer.
Yes. But like, kind of like right at 30 feet.
Okay.
That plus 30 feet
Sorry
will be a
about
little
that.
lower down.
Either I wasted a spell, or if they're not webbed, how do you want to do this?
If I was
You
the
could have
GM, I'd
webbed the
just go
ground
forward.
between us and them.
I like that actually. That this guy. Okay, so these guys aren't webbed. Actually, how do you feel about that proposal, Magnus? Because I'm willing to let you retcon where you targeted the webbing. That would be fine, and then you could hit. It could have hit some of them at least as they charge at you.
What's their movement? I guess they can get to us in.
They can get to you in one round if they do a double. If they run and spend the whole turn doing nothing but run, but then they can't attack you that turn.
Honestly, I would have just cast lightning bolt. I think.
That's easy enough. We can simply retcon and then roll the damage.
Okay. Alright, so it'll be a lightning bolt. If we can retcon to when I cast it, can we engulf that guy that ran up as well?
Yeah, I'll scooch this guy back here.
Alright, sorry about that, everybody.
I forgive you. For now.
Sorry to actually your spell.
No, it's good to know. We actually do care about the rules a little bit here.
Yeah. Okay, so lightning bolt goes off. They get saves.
Yes, they do. Ooh. They in theory they get saves, in practice not so much.
Okay.
Okay.
17 damage.
Blasted. Extremely blasted. And extremely blasted. Which of these guys had the One sec. Thank you for your patience with the accounting. The lightning bolt erupts out, smashes through one of them, catches another one, and they just drop like a stone. And the third one is momentarily burst into flames. Two of them perish where they stand. The survivor seems quite rattled. Let's see, this one's casting, these two throw stones at it. The survivor is going to rampage into melee. Confident in his ability to start pulling you limb from limb. Also, he wants to get into a position where you cannot blast him with lightning again. Honestly, all of these guys probably would have tried to scamper to a position where you couldn't easily blast him with lightning. Which I'm just going to go ahead and do, since all the attacks on Zoltan miss anyway. I assume Zoltan too.
And now I declare
presume.
web.
Alrighty.
Just being harried.
Alrighty.
What?
You have 3 thwomps coming at you. Big shaggy thwomps. Muscled bricks of men. The one in front of you is pretty badly wounded. This one on the left, this one is huge. It's big even by regular standards. He looks like he has been eating his Wheaties. And he has no fear of you whatsoever, despite you having exploded one of his guys. You have, if you are in the front rank and wish to do melee, feel free to roll an attack against any of them.
And then just, are these one hit die creatures or fewer?
They are not. No, they're not. All right.
I would still like to declare
Someday.
web.
I know. Thank you. And John's, you rolled a 6, I think. Your
Yeah.
AC is 13, so I don't think that's going to hit, unfortunately.
Puzzling. Wow.
Ooh, max damage.
Not bad.
Does a 7 hit?
It does not. Their armor class is 13, as I said. 13 is still more than 7.
I'm racking foes.
God.
Or a foe.
I had a great bit recently where a friend of ours, who is normally pretty insightful, sort of without thinking, was like, do you have any citations for that statistic you just cited? And we were like, well, the statistic is that 30 is more than 20. And they just sort of sighed and had to lie down for a second as they realized what they had said. I promised I would never roast them for that to their face.
That reminds me, I was on the Wikipedia page once for water, and
Okay.
I think it was like one of the first lines is like most all living beings need water to
You are
survive. I was
interrupted
like,
we are both interrupted in our rambling stories by the explosive impact of Foracker into the sternum of one of the foremost of the creatures, driving it back a half step as it struggles to recapture its breath, blood spewing from a puncture in its chest. All right, who else rolled high enough to do some injury to this thing? Because I think it was pretty much just Foracker. Everyone else is rolling pretty mid.
Oh, Dobby can attack.
Yeah, it's true. Roll 2 bonks, sir.
Smite. He will smite with his mace.
Not with a 5, he's not.
Oh.
Dobby charges in, mace flailing, and the absolutely gigantic kid just sort of palms his head and holds him back as he flails his mace. He can't close to melee. He's too powerful. He's too big. All right, now is web time.
All right. Do I think that I can stick all 3 of these together with a 10 by 20? Or does it have to like properly engulf one to stick them?
Well, we're both doing it, so
Yes.
we'll well cover them.
Yeah, you
The
can
middle
hot glue
guy
them all
is
three.
really
Here's the
struggling.
concern. You can hot glue the 3 of them together
Okay.
if you collaborate on this. They will still be dangerous if you are in melee range with them, but in a 3-legged race sort of way, but significantly less so.
I'll get the ones on the right. My right, your left.
Magnus doesn't answer.
I will take that as a yes.
All right. There is no roll involved here. You just sort of web them.
Oh, yeah.
They are ensnarled in webbing. But they are so mighty that they are still not yet out of the fight. The music turns back on as they trudge towards you in a sort of a 4-legged race kind of way. Claws wrenching free of the webbing that binds them as they prepare to pummel you senseless, significantly debuffed and impaired in their ability to kill. Roll initiative. You guys go first. Apparently their webbing trick is only so strong. Oh, I did it again. You guys have initiative. You can declare spells if you like.
Lightning bolt.
Phantasmal Force.
All right. Be aware, lightning bolt at point blank range is dangerous.
Well, I can choose the starting point. It doesn't originate from me.
I know, but
And then
it's more that like if you lightning bolt someone who is in melee range with you, or who is in melee range with someone else, that person is in danger. Not as much danger as be if you targeted them, but the way I usually do it is they get a saving throw. If they pass it, they take no damage, and if they fail, they take half damage.
All right, well, let's make it missile then. We'll do magic missile instead.
Alrighty. First, you guys have the initiative. Ooh.
Alas, I have to head off. However, if I may cast a vote, it looks like things are turning around for you guys. Morpert, if he should perish, I understand. I'll have, I think, exceeded Richard's body count by that point. Quite an achievement.
I know.
I think you guys should take proof back of these things that you're victorious so that nobody has any doubts. And if possible, the bodies of the slain, however gruesome, to be placed into hallowed ground, however frozen. That's what I think. But anyways, I gotta go. But
Alrighty.
thanks,
Take
Richard.
care, Ross.
You guys have a
I'll
great
keep you
night.
posted.
Proper burials for the innocent and improper burials for the dead, for the baddies.
All right.
Mythic Mountains RPG is a private online play club that focuses on folk RPGs. Folk RPGs are the games that belong to all of us. They're what actually happens at a table between friends. It's their voice that has the authority on what is fun and what works for them. Weekly, we upload our games to allow others to sit in with us. The channel isn't monetized. We don't own the artwork, music, software, or games shown in these actual plays, and you can find links to their authors in the description. Like, subscribe, and share if you wish, or don't. Just like games in person, you're welcome to pull up a chair, sit in, and watch some of our games. No performances, no fancy equipment, just regular people playing folk pencil and paper role-playing games and having a good time. We hope these games will prove a source of enjoyment to anyone just wanting to listen in, anyone looking for examples of how actual groups run and play folk RPGs, and most importantly, if you haven't found your group yet, you're welcome here at ours.